My name is Rilavech, and within this one YouTube video, I will make you a Palworld skill fruit expert. I will cover every skill fruit in today's video and rank them based on average of their element and power, as well as the cast time and how effective each skill is in battle. We will go in order from least rare to rarest skill fruit, so let's go ahead and get into this. First up on the list, we got Air Cannon, a neutral uncommon active skill with a count of 2, allowing you to spam it like no other. It also has a power of 25, so it's pretty decent early game. The fact is, though, that this is not going to be lasting you too long in the game. Power becomes a huge factor, no matter how long the count is later on. But these set of low count, low power spells really aren't the worst. They're definitely good to get you going. It's a great place to start on the sea. We'll move it down if needed. But see, this is where we get into some different things. Power shot, neutral, uncommon, but with a count of 4, taking twice as long as Air Cannon, but nowhere near twice the damage, with only a 10 power increase. Plus the fact that it is extremely hard to aim. Even your minions are missing this bad boy sometimes with that slow speed. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this down a tier onto the D. Hydrojet, which is a water uncommon with a count of 2 and a power of 30. It's gonna be just like Air Cannon, but with an extra 5 power. Absolutely beautiful of a move. There's gonna be a continuous pattern with each element. There's going to be at least one low level move that can get the job done, just like Air Cannon and Hydrojet. Obviously better than Air Cannon, but definitely not worth a B tier just quite yet. We got the Aqua Gun, a water uncommon active skill with a count of 4 and a 40 on the power. It is suffering the same exact situation as the power shot, but I found it to be even worse than the power shot. There's no range to it. It evaporates, and it's extremely hard to shoot. The extra 5 damage, rather power shot. Water is not an overused element like that. Now this is exactly why Water Gun is not an F tier. Acid Rain, water uncommon with a count of 18. One of the longest counts that we're going to see in a minute on this tier list. It takes forever, and it does 80 damage. It does 80 damage, but it sends a bunch of raindrops down, and all of them together equal 80 damage, which is not the situation that happens any of the time. This is going to be our first F tier easily. Just a move that you really don't want on a minion whatsoever. It's kind of holding you back. Dragon Cannon, a dragon uncommon with a count of 2 and a power of 30, looking just like the Hydrojet and Air Cannon. Beautiful move, and got the dragon effect, so you're just going to be the top of C tier. Wind Cutter, another one of the low count, low power series, but seems to get the job done. Definitely a beautiful move, and one of the faster ones of the bunch. Grass uncommon. We're going to go ahead and toss that bad boy with the others, no doubt about it. Getting all these out of the way early before we get to these absolutely fascinating moves. Definitely not better than the water one, and not better than the dragon one whatsoever, but almost anything is better than a neutral one. That Seed Machine Gun, this is a beautiful move, but it has no range on it. Grass uncommon, count of 9, so the count really isn't that bad, with a 50 damage, some of the first serious damage that we got coming in. But because of the fact that you have to get so close with it, and it's not going to last you early game, it's just going to be another C tier. And it's honestly going to be the back of C tier because of that. But now we're coming in with the Seed Mine, which is way more beautiful than the machine gun. It hits one big one that does a lot of damage, and then it spreads a bunch of little ones that explode in due time. Great early game spell. Grass uncommon just like the rest, but it is the first beneficial spell that I honestly would suggest taking to boss in. I think it's going to be our first B rank. It could honestly be in the back of B by the end of this, but with 65 power and only a 13 count, it surely isn't anything to be messed with. I do think it's like Acid Rain in the sense you have to hit all the things to get the 65 power, but if you have a high level minion, I'm telling you, you can see on screen right now, it does some damage. We got Ignis Blast, a fire uncommon, count of 2, usual one, coming in with that fire though. Fire has the benefit of being good against 2 elements, a very rare occasion in this game. game. So we're gonna put it at the very top. That's just personally how I feel about it. It could be the top 3 on anybody's opinion, but me, love the fire. Then we coming in with that spirit fire uncommon, but with a count of 7 and with 45 damage. I found this move very hard to hit. It doesn't end up doing the most damage because of the spread on the bullets, and if you're riding, extremely hard to hit, but a beautiful spell overall. It's even on some of the alpha bosses because it's so good late game. We're gonna go ahead and toss that one in on the B rank as well, right above the seed mine. Finally getting into some better action here. Flame arrow is quick, got a lot of damage, but it does break it up to 3 and has a somewhat longer count. It's obviously gonna be better than any of the first starting tier skills in the C, but I don't think it's better than seed mine, so we're gonna go ahead and put that one at the end of B. Spirit fire honestly is definitely better. 3 points off the count, and then you get only 10 less damage. Beautiful move. Coming in with that spark blast. Don't need to cover that too much more. It's just like the other C moves that we have so far. It is lightning, of course, which I would say is on par with water. I wish I could stack them up in this situation. I'll put it one ahead, but those could be swapped either which way. Coming in with that shockwave next. One of the first actually explosive skills where you end up blowing up everything around you. It is a beautiful skill, but I am not the biggest fan of the ones where your minion has to get close to the other minions. He almost always gets destroyed with it, but with a cooldown count of 4, it definitely keeps you away from the minions. So we'll go ahead and throw that above the C tiers, toss it on the back of B. It's gonna be, I put it behind flare arrow, no doubt about that. We got that electric ball, an electric uncommon with a count of 9 and a power of 50. It is absolutely disgusting. Debatably worse than acid rain because of the speed. It moves at a total of half a point. It moves slower than a snail. It's facts. You can see it here from the video, and because of that, it is the worst possible thing in the game. Good luck getting this to hit anything. Plasma Tornado, electric uncommon with a count of 13, but a power of 65. It is a beautiful skill, but only 2 minions learn it naturally. Very good early game, could debatably good mid game. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a B tier, and I'm gonna give it a high B tier. It is by no means a tornado whatsoever. Please don't be deceived by that. I think it's better than the Spirit Fire. Coming in next, we got that Sand Blast, a ground uncommon, count of 4 with a power of 40. I don't know why they didn't just call this move Mud Ball. Extremely hard to hit, has no range whatsoever. Another F tier spell, ain't no doubt about that in my mind. Don't worry guys, later on in this video, we are gonna get to some drastically good game-changing moves. We got that Stone Blast next on the list, and you might as well call this Pebble Blast. I don't know why it is called Stone Blast. Just shoots a bunch of pebbles at the enemy. Doesn't really get too much of the job done whatsoever. But on the other hand, you got Stone Cannon, which is an upgraded mud ball like no other. Almost double the damage, triple the countdown timer, but you do get to look like one of the earthbenders from Avatar. I think Stone Cannon is the lowest B tier possible. I like the move, but it just doesn't have that range on it. Upgraded mud ball. Oh, because of that, it honestly has to go to the bottom of C. Oh man, and then we gotta place that Stone Blast still. Stone Blast is just a meme, barely any damage getting through. Going on the back of D, but not nearly as bad as Acid Rain because you have a little bit more control over it. We got that Poison Blast, which is gonna be the first B move that has a 2 count and a 30 damage. We're also gonna move the Ignis Blast up 1. I didn't factor in the fire damage on the Ignis Blast, and for this one it has poison damage, which is absolutely beautiful. Go ahead and weaken them, make them easier to catch. There ain't many things like that in the game, so we'll give them that B tier, but they're not going to be good late game, so you can forget about them. But they'll take you to mid game because of those perks. Shadow Burst is just like Shockwave, but it is the Dark Edition. It is taking twice the time to regenerate, and I had trouble hitting anything below me with it, as you can see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss this in the D rank. I don't see too much value in getting them close like that, and when you can only use it once, just a little bit more damage with 2.5 times the amount of time, not worth it whatsoever in my eyes. We got the Shockwave up on B. Cool, we gave that one a lot of credit, but this one right here isn't nearly as good. I'm gonna go ahead and drive it down to the C back because of those cons that it has. Spirit Flame next, one of the first serious damage moves. It is a dark uncommon, count of 16, so not too bad on the count. We're comparing this to something like Stone Cannon, and I'd say it's way better than Stone Cannon because the beams actually track the enemy to some extent. Now, you are breaking the damage up into 325 power beams, but most of them do hit, at least 2, and the Stone Cannon can just miss in general. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this bad boy high up on the B. Nah, with back a B. Beautiful move, but just not too good in comparison to other ones. I'm not gonna get you carried late game. Ice Missile, which is gonna be the ice version of the low count, low power editions. This one right here is interesting because it has a cooldown of 3 and it breaks the missile up into 3 hits. Very accurate hits, though, I might add, that have some tracing ability to them. Because of that, I would give it the top of C, but I do not say that that ability is worth a B, considering that poison and fire is what's going to get you up into the B. Now, we got Icicle Cutter next. This one right here I really liked because it was really hard to dodge. With a countdown of 10, it has some downside, but it's definitely double the damage as all the early game moves that we've seen before. If you can dodge for a little bit, it's well worth the wait. It's going to put it right there above Spirit Flame on the list, but not better than a burn or a poison effect. Power Bomb next. This move right here had a little bit of accuracy to it. I must say it was not bad whatsoever. With a neutral and the first rare that we are getting onto this evening. I loved this move early game. It would just absolutely destroy the enemies, blow them up out of nowhere. It was the early game fireball, and because of that, we're gonna give it that A tier. I would give it an S tier, but it just doesn't seem to last to the late game because it's neutral. Beautiful one though. We are getting onto these rares, getting a lot better, and you cannot believe what comes later on in this video. There are moves, rare moves that some element types learn when they hit level 50, and I never even found that out till today, and I'm gonna teach you those secrets later on in this video. Bubble Blast, the water rare, count of 13 with a power of 65. This move shoots some heat-seeking bubbles at the enemy, but for some reason always seems to waste a few on the ground in front of you, except if you aim it straight up. Absolutely love this move. When it comes at you in tons with tons of minions, you can almost not help but die. It is another A tier, back of A tier though. Then we got the beautiful Aqua Burst, the first count of 30, but a power of 100, an absolute stomper in the game. It is going to be an upgraded power bomb, putting it at the top of A, but it will not last you until late game. It is debatably just as good as a fireball, but I can tell you fireball is just way better. It's just it carries you. I think fireball has 150 damage and that has 100, so it's definitely gotta stay in A tier. It's tempting to put it in the S though. That is a crazy move. Dragon Burst is just like the other burst moves where it just hits everything around it. It indeed is just like Shadow Burst, so we're gonna, I mean, there ain't much thought to it. Put it right next to it. I had a little bit easier time hitting this one over Shadow Burst, so I'll put it above it. It's debatably better than Stone Cannon, the machine gun, but not air cannon. Beautiful position in there. And now we come in with our first get close and actually do some damage move. Draconic Breath. It is going to be good in the mid game. I would not say use it in the late game too much. I do not like getting too close to my enemies, but whenever you're mid game fighting the lower level enemies, this will absolutely tear through them. With a count of 15, you can spam it over and over again, no problem. The only drawback is having to be close. It's going to the top of A tier. I'm gonna put it right behind Aqua Burst, actually. Coming in next, we got Grass Tornado, which is going to be one of the first tornado moves of the evening. Beautiful moves that are hitting multiple enemies at once. They do spread the damage, but it seems to be well worth it. I use these. You either using your grass, your fire, your electric. Wait, the electric tornado ain't a tornado, but they're definitely use worthy. Now remember, grass isn't nearly as good as fire or water, so it's going to be a little farther back. We're going to put these on the back of A. Beautiful moves, but not going to carry you too late into the game. That Spine Vine coming on in next. This bad boy reminds me of the Rock Lance that we get to later on. Beautiful move, count of 25, but with a damage of 95, bringing it up there with Aqua Burst. The only downfall and the only reason that I'm going to put this below Grass Tornado is because of the fact if it's a flying enemy, it will not hit them. It's strapped to the ground. which happens about half the time. I'd say half pals fly, maybe a third. A lot of time. Ignis Breath coming on in next. That's that flamethrower with a beautiful 70 damage, just like the Draconic Breath, but you do get that fire attribute, which is good against 2 elements. Ain't too much to think about that. Just put it right there below Aqua Burst, but above the Draconic Breath. The beautiful Flare Storm, which compared to the Grass Tornado is amazing. Absolutely love this move. You're going to be using it all mid-game. It's definitely better than Aqua Burst and going to take over the top of A tier. Lock-on Laser, which I had a love for, like no other whenever I unlocked this move. I would use it left and right in my playthroughs, but for some reason when testing this, it wasn't hitting a darn thing, which would drive me insane if it would have done that much during the fights, especially with how long it takes to get off. It's a good middling ability though. I'm gonna go ahead and put it above a Plasma Tornado on the B tier. With a count of 15, you reasonably can use it, but the fact that the move takes 5 seconds to use in itself, it's brutal. We got Lightning Streak. This is what I would say the Fireball and Aqua Burst of Lightning is. The only downside is you got Tri-Lightning right above it that is obviously better and gonna be, I'd say Tri-Lightning we would put in the middle of A tier, and then Lightning Streak would be in the back of A tier, because that damage is still so close, and you get a good chunk of count off. Either one of these plays would be right, just based on your playstyle alone. I'm going to put that one at the back of B, and then Tri-Lightning, because of my playstyle, and I like to use stronger moves, I'm gonna put it right there. Coming in next, we got that beautiful Sand Tornado. Ground, still on the rares, with a count of 18 and a power of 80. Not bad at all. Definitely the same as the Flare Storm, but the advantage type is not there. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in with the Grass Tornado right next to it, but above it, of course. A little bit better than Grass. Got that Earth ability. Nightmare Box, which is a beautiful rare 30 count 100 damage, just like the Aqua Burst. The names are so weird, like you would not think a burst is the ball, but that's why we're here in this video, to clear up all the confusion. And we still somehow have not even got to the moves that absolutely seem to change the game once you end up getting them. We're gonna go ahead and toss that Nightmare Ball, of course, above Flare Storm. There ain't no doubt about it. Dark is amazing attribute. Love the attribute much more than the water as well, and it's going to be much more useful than the Flare Storm. I even used this one until late game. It replaced Flare Storm for me. Iceberg is a great middle game spell that we finally get towards the end of the rares. With a power of 70 and a count of 15, you can use it plenty times. It staggers the enemy and launches ice under them, somewhat giving them a little stagger. One of the first staggers in the game. Absolutely beautiful spell. We're going to go ahead and throw that one up onto the A as well. It's better than Tri-Lightning, but it's better than Grass Tornado, Sand Tornado, but not better than Power Bomb, so we're gonna put it right there. Crisp Breath next on the list, which is just like Ignis Breath. The count's a little longer, but the damage is definitely there. It's just about the playstyle as well. I'm gonna put it right with it. It doesn't have the advantage type, so we'll put the fire one above it. We got that Pow Blast coming in next, which is where we're finally getting to some absolutely serious damage moves. With a 150 power and the first epic rarity. Sadly, it is neutral, and that count, I can promise you, doesn't matter whatsoever when you're launching that much power at enemies. It is a beautiful first S tier move. Absolutely love it. Now, next on the list, we're finally getting to this absolutely heated territory of epic rarities. We got Implode, the self-destruction move. Great for if you needed to handle something quick, or you're in a place where you shouldn't be. Put this on your useless minions, implode them on it, get that damage in, get out of there as soon as possible. Another S tier as well, but gonna put it behind Pow Blast because it's a very niche S tier. We got Hydro Laser coming in next. Another move I didn't get without getting a level 50 water minion, or until you catch the Alpha Joltamide. Is that how you say it? Did I just say it right the first time? When I was testing this, I was absolutely stunned by the production of it. This bad boy is gonna go right there up with Hydro Blast, but better because it is a water, of course. Dragon Meteor, which is the Fireball of Dragon. Absolutely beautiful. Best in the entire game. Debatably besides Fireball, but we will get to that in a moment. Gonna put it on all your minions, gonna be running that till the end of time. Coming in next, we got that Solar Blast, which you have to hit a level 50 on a grass type minion. Really shocked me, didn't even know they had a Solar Beam in game. It's not as good as Hydro Laser or Pal Blast. It seems to take a little bit to load, but has all the same abilities. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the back, but right above Implode, since you don't die whenever you use it. Ignis Rage, one of my favorite moves in game, just destroying all the environment around you. If there's a bunch of pals in the area, this is the way to take them out. With 120 power and a lower count considering the power of 40, I absolutely adore this move. Putting it up at the top of A, but not above, I mean at the top of S, but not above Dragon Meteor, because you prefer Dragon Meteor. And you also prefer Fireball over Ignis Rage. A count of 55, damage 150, can one-hit a lot of high-level minions and even some bosses in the late game. Gonna have that on all your minions, ain't no doubt about it, unless you need an element change, of course. S, top of S, best in game. Coming in with that Lightning Strike and Lightning Bolt. Now these are very interesting skills. They're interesting in the aspect that they're not that good. Lightning Strike. I have to hit a level 50 electric to unlock. It was another move that I didn't see any of whatsoever, but I'm definitely happy I got to see a little bit of at the end of the game while making this. It is a crazy move. Very, very good. Just like Pal Blast, just like Hydro Laser, but honestly, in my opinion, better than them because of that electric. I do not think that it's better than Ignis Rage though, so we're gonna go ahead and set it right there. Lightning Bolt. The reason I postponed this one is because this is the only spell in game that mines. You will mine with this. You put it on your Astagon, and you go to the ore, and you mine them all in one sweep. You got a Falapi on your team. Falapis go and pick it all up for you. It is absolutely beautiful. And because of that, and how much time I've used that for, I haven't even used this thing for fighting. It's not for fighting. It is going to be an S tier, but I can't put it above the battle ones since it's not for battling, but I will put it above Ignis Rage. Coming in next, we got that Rock Lance, which is an absolutely beautiful fireball, but for Earth. It only hits them if they're not flying though, which instantly takes it down so many notches. I'm gonna go ahead and put it all the way behind Solar Blast, which is absolutely brutal for it. Better than Implode? Nope, not better than Implode, but Implode will hit. We got two more. Dark Laser, just like the Dragon Meteor, but it's a giant laser of dark energy. Gonna be better than Lightning Strike, Ignis Rage, Hydro Laser. You're gonna be having this on every minion late game and another beautiful S tier. I'm shocked we actually have more good skills in game rather than bad ones. And last but not least, my top and number one pick, the S tier of them all, Blizzard Spike. This minion freezes minions whenever it hits it. When the minions are frozen, you throw explosives on them and it launches them 5,000 feet into the air. They then take fall damage when they hit the ground, killing them instantly. The only move in the game that can do this, and while they're frozen, they can't attack you. It is the best move in game possible. With the count of 45, it's mind-blowing that they give you that count and only take away 20 power for a benefit like that. Love this move. I think it should be on all minions. Even fire minions should have this move. And that's gonna do it for our tier list this evening. We have ranked every skill in Palworld. Let me know down below how I could do things differently or what you want to see on the next video yourself. There are also exclusive skills that only certain minions can learn in Palworld. If you want me to cover those in a video, please leave this a like. If you ended up staying till the end, comment skill fruits.